All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Wolfgang Krosky, CEO of the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce. And I know that we will have others coming in as this meeting progresses, and we're very excited to have as many businesses as possible join this. This is our second meeting. We meet the third Thursday of every month. Sometime during the day, it changes depending on schedules and who we have speaking and presenting, but we're really excited about this as we continue to grow the Business Watch here in Pittsburgh. We, as a chamber, have seen the plight of businesses along with the city in regards to what some may have called, quality of life crimes, but we're trying to change that to more around the quality of customer experience. That because saying quality of life means that the business's life is more important than somebody else's life. And I think we could all agree that that's not necessarily what we're trying to promote, but at the end of the day, different policies and people's behaviors and actions that they take are impacting the business community, and they're impacting the experience that customers have at different businesses. Today's format is going to be somewhat different. Traditionally, we would have businesses asking lots of questions and venting and saying what's going wrong and what they need help with. And we're going to be doing it differently, where our city staff, PD, and the chamber will be asking the questions of our business owners and our business representatives in hopes that we can gather more input and more data to be able to help make a change. And we realize that a lot of the changes that need to be made to help are more around policy and not so much around, something like painting curbs or things like that. It gets more into the policy and how that's impacting the business. So we want to hear from you. We want this to be as open a dialogue as possible, and say it how it is, because that's the information that's needed for us to make changes. Just so everybody knows, especially inside of a neighboring school district, this meeting is being recorded. So we want open dialogue, but please be mindful of that. I don't want anybody to feel surprised that they ended up somewhere. So it is, I guess we have to give warnings now. This is being recorded and it may be used, but I don't have any concerns with. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I apologize for the crying kid. I am operating at home at the moment, but that's the COVID world we're in right now. So what I want to do real quick is I'm going to go down the list of our attendees. I know a lot of us know each other, but there are, we always have new people. It gives everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. I'll just go ahead and say your name. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and say who you are, organization you're working with, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Deflich. I work at the Pittsburgh Police Department. I'm a lieutenant that is assigned to our investigations bureau, and I've worked with the city now for about 24 years.
Awesome. Mr. Nunley.
Yes. My name is Alan Nunley, and I am the owner of Nunley's Karate Do. Been in the business for 20 plus years in downtown Pittsburgh.
Thank you. Mr. Davies.
I am owner of North Point Security Services. Bill Davies provides security for several of the centers in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Bob Berger. You're muted.
Hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm Bob Berger, and I'm the owner of the Pittsburgh Town Center on Railroad in Pittsburgh.
All right, thank you. Let's see, Mr. Brown.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Charles Brown III. I'm a business services representative and reentry coordinator with the Workforce Development Board of Contra Costa County. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Bob Garrison.
Bob Garrison, Sierra Pacific Properties, own and manage multiple shopping centers and properties throughout Pittsburgh.
All right, Mr. Evans.
Garrett Evans, City Manager with the City of Pittsburgh. I've been with the community for over 24 years.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
Jordan Davis, Interim Director of Economic Development and Assistant to the City Manager. Been with the city for about 6 years, 2 of which has been working with the City Manager's office and working the past year heavily on economic development here in the city.
All right. Let's see, Ms. Henderson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pamela Henderson. I'm the founder president of 65 Max Foundation. My foundation was established in 2012, and it is a girl empowerment training program. I train through our sister company, which is 65 Max Apparel, on the job training skills for customer service. And I also create jobs within the foundation.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Madam President, Ms. Hairsign.
Good afternoon. Nancy Hairsign, President of the Chamber. Also a certified financial planner, lifetime planning, investments, and financial services.
All right, Ms. Baldalzo.
Tony Baldazzo, the Community Outreach Coordinator for the Pittsburgh Police Department. I've been with the Police Department for 20 years, and I live and work in the city of Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Let's see, Ms. Gaskin. Or her representative, I believe she said that it's gonna be somebody else from Walmart. Well, Walmart is on the call. We'll say that. Let's see, Leanne. You're muted. Okay, Tara.
Tara Chapman. I am the Member Relations Coordinator here at the Chamber. I've been with the Chamber for about 3 years, and I also live and work here in the city of Pittsburgh.
Awesome. And I think that is everybody so far. I'll monitor any other attendees that join in. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to give, with the city, either Jordan or Garrett, let you kind of ask maybe your first question or two of our business panel.
I'll go first. Again, as Wolf said, thank you all for joining us. I guess just starting off at a pretty high level, just kind of like to maybe know what you're seeing and what has maybe changed since COVID started around, you know, folks who may be loitering or otherwise vandalizing businesses throughout the city.
You can go ahead and just, you can either use the raise your hand feature, or if you just want to go ahead and unmute, you can do that as well, whatever you're comfortable with. Let's see, Bob Garrison, go for it.
I'll just go first, I guess. We've seen a huge uptick in homeless encampments, vandalism to property, to vehicles, storefront break-ins. I mean, just last night, just as an example, we had a storefront break-in at Century Plaza in one of our vacant spaces. We had a door cut open at the In-Shape building, and Olive Garden had their front door broken into. So, and that was a busy night, but it's almost become commonplace to get these calls in the middle of the night.
Just as a follow-up for data point purposes, did each of those get reported to PD either on the online tool or through dispatch?
I know Olive Garden and In-Shape did. The vacant space probably didn't.
Okay. All right.
Bob, for most folks, most of the businesses that you guys have, I know that we work very closely with Sierra Pacific on sort of a larger scale camera network, and so we have cameras throughout the city, and a lot of your properties do as well. But do a lot of your tenants tend to have their own security systems, or do they rely mainly on the sort of broader security camera system?
Yeah, I would say most, not all, but most have alarm systems, burglary alarm systems. They don't always work. Police is great at responding to those, though. I mean, we get those calls a lot, and sometimes they're false alarms. So yeah, I think most tenants have their own, whether it be through Bay Alarm or another company, that have some kind of security measures in place.
Now, Mr. Nunley, I don't know if you want to respond to that as a independent business in regards to either the loitering or security systems.
As far as myself, we don't have any security system. But as far as people loitering around, I don't see too many people. I did have an incident probably about 3 months ago where somebody came by and just started paintballing up the whole entire block. Other than that, no other incidents.
Okay. About Ms. Henderson, do you have anything on that particular question or topic?
I got a comment. Can I make a comment?
Sure, Mr. Berger. Yeah, go for it.
Most of the tenants, the larger tenants, do have a security system that they use. However, that's not a deterrent to ward off homeless people from congregating. The only thing it does is give them an opportunity to call security without confronting the homeless, because it's not a win-win situation. It's a lose-lose situation if a tenant goes out and confronts a homeless person. So their cameras in their store, Dollar Tree cameras in their store, the market, Walgreens, they basically allowed the manager to look and see if there's someone out in front that's disturbing the customers as they come in, asking and begging for change or whatever. And then they will call security, which Garrison, Bob uses the same one I do, will come fairly rapidly on a mobile and move them along. That's basically the only real value of any video cameras. I have video cameras in the back of the center, which are monitored in the market. And the only reason for those is to make sure that we don't have anybody that is sleeping in the back of the center once the gates are closed.
If this would be Mr. Davies, if maybe what's your experience been with on the private security side in regards to loitering, since you're not necessarily a business located here, but you're working with the businesses?
There's definitely a lot more homeless people out here now, and it's just you're fighting an uphill battle. We're running them off. They come back. A lot of them have mental issues. So it's just, it's just a constant battle. You move them from one center, they go to the other center. You move them from that center, they go back to the other center. So until we find a place for them to go, which I don't see it happening, we're just going to constantly have these battles They've become more aggressive. We used to know a lot of the homeless people by name and deal with them, but there's a lot more coming into the city that we don't recognize, and a lot more violent ones now, where they're starting to get combative with the guards. We do what we can. We try to get them trespassed when, we call Pittsburgh PD out. But it's, it's just, we just go around in circles with them every day. It's the same thing. But now we're getting, more windows broken. You run them off of the center, then they come back at night pissed off and they do vandalism or damage. So it's, you kind of got to deal with them delicately so they don't come back and retaliate.
Awesome. Jordan, any follow-up, or Garrett, any other questions, or at the moment?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Garrett.
Or Wolf, if I could jump in, and maybe this will be hopefully the light at the end of the tunnel, and not having a freight train. There's a lot of talk in Washington, which always likes to, help everyone out, about a relief package. If, and again, this is all speculation, but in your mind, what would be good for the business community if the city were to get a decent amount of relief money for COVID that we could invest basically into our business community? What is helpful? What is meaningful? Because, I know we tried a program, with the chamber, something like that, or is there something better that the city could focus to try and make your, coming out of COVID better and more successful?
Mr. Nunley, would you like to start off on that one?
Only thing I can see that, everyone, I'm sure because of COVID, they're struggling with, making ends meet, whether it be their rent, whether it be insurance, whatever they have to take care of. As far as myself, I'm struggling with it, but I teach full-time and I work full-time. So that kind of helps me with making ends meet. But if they can contribute, some funds towards the rent, that'd be great.
All right. Let's see. Ms. Henderson, did you want to add anything to that question, or provide an answer or input?
Oh, absolutely. Again, as I stated, my foundation trains and developed through customer service skills. And my focus are girls, since I'm girl empowerment, and it's 12 to 24 years old, girls who are homeless, at risk, meaning having family problems, truant, girls of domestic violence, veterans, and also girls whom are in need of more development and training. And I must say, I've been here in Antioch, even though I've been part of Pittsburgh Chamber and working closely with Supervisor Federal Glover, I've been having to get to get girls on the outside on my own. But I've been through with the school district and networking. I mean, I've been everywhere, and also with the police department. However, my foundation should have the support that it needs, because I am able to help those in need, such as the homeless and people whom are at risk and in school. Excuse me.
So to help with that, what type of support would help your business specifically?
Well, the support I would need now is that I'm able to, I'm offering the services online. So the support to help me have the resources, which of course I need help with the rent and things of that nature, but also with the people whom are in need of having the resources that my foundation has to offer.
Okay, awesome. Bob Garrison, as you work with your different tenants, you have big box all the way down to very small independent. What in addition to, I need help with rent because you're here as a landlord, and I'm sure, you know, getting rent would be good, but if there were monies available to support businesses, what do you think, from what you hear from the businesses outside of rent, might be best help?
I mean, I think if we had, you know, more boots on the ground, that's the only thing I can think of that would help, you know, the situation that we're talking about in terms of, you know, the issues that are dragging down our retail shopping centers. Is just more. I know, you know, I know that the police department only has so many resources. So if we were able to deploy some of those monies for additional officers to focus solely on the shopping centers, that might be something that would help. But you know, to me, it comes down to actually being able to do something about these issues, like the theft issues, and I mean, if the jails aren't going to book people because the DA won't prosecute or whatever the reason, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. I feel somewhat hopeless until those things change, to be quite honest. But I do think boots on the ground and more of a police presence at the centers would help for sure.
Okay. Tara, you have been doing, along with Leanne, contacting a lot of our members during this experience and, you know, talking with them about what their needs are, et cetera. What are some of the common themes that you're hearing from the businesses while you're doing the phone calls in regards to the help that they might need?
The biggest struggles that they're having is that a lot of them aren't able to be open, so they don't have the income that they need to you know, to pay their rent, to, you know, pay their lights, you know, pay employees, even the ones that are able to be open. They're all just struggling financially.
Okay. Leanne, do you have anything to add?
So I talked to a lot of the major retailers, and it's a big mix of the unhoused versus normal thieves. I don't know how to change the legislation, but them being able to just walk in and walk out with merchandise was a big deal. And if they're confronted, they just taunt the store owner and say, don't worry, I'll be back tomorrow to steal more because I can. So because the limit is high, there seems to be in a couple of the stores a set of 3 women who are stealing. I don't know if they're the same 3 women, but they're kind of described sort of the same, and the number was always 3. And they know exactly what to do, and they know what to say, and they just are very nasty. The homeless were up and down. Some were the older ones, the more traditional, like our normal ones that have been here for a long time, kind of responded right. If you went up to them, they sort of moved away. So it definitely is the newer ones that are more challenging and more aggressive. Some of the stores mentioned that they had not met the officers yet that were in charge kind of that homeless coalition, or that helped a lot, but some did. And overall, PD got great scores all across the board. And then one business used something called Cop Logic, but no other store mentioned that. And that was to log incidents. So that might be something, I didn't get to research it, but that might be something that maybe can be implemented a little bit more if it's something that works and integrates well with PD. No standard time, no standard day. Busy shopping centers were hit a lot more frequently. And busier stores, of course. The more people, the more theft naturally, because they think you're not going to see them even if you walk right up to them when they're stealing. So,
Right.
So A whole mix. The smaller stores definitely did better.
Yeah.
than the
One, in some of my visits, Garrett, one idea I've been having, because we've seen, we did the grants, with the city that we helped and gave that cash, and I've seen businesses get different grants, and the cash comes in, but then it's kind of like, I need more, right? Because obviously this pandemic is too. I saw a meme that says, "What should I wear to the anniversary of the 2-week to flatten the curve party?" Asking for a friend. Nobody expected it to go this long, right? And so we don't know how long we have to bolster just those basic operating expenses, but it seems that things are going to start opening up. Maybe some type of and I'll just call it a marketing campaign for lack of a better word, but like a citywide grand reopening. And obviously not blowing the whole wad of money on that, but doing something very significant and profound to kind of shake people out of the habit of, I'm just as guilty, right? I got a brown box with blue tape that comes to my house every day from Amazon because I got into that habit. It takes 21 days to establish a habit, and we're now going to be 12 months. Maybe something big that can help shake people to realize, hey, it's safe to go to our businesses. This is what we've done both on the COVID side and the physical safety side. They're open. Help. We can, get businesses to create some type of promotion or something, and just really everybody working together to have this grand reopening. Hopefully we can do it in spring because, spring is new and growth, but whenever it is, it is. But I think we need to do something to really let people know that it's safe to come back to businesses. Businesses are ready, and, kind of just a grand reopening. So that might be something that I don't know what strings are attached to those funds and what they can and can't do, but I would think that something like that might help. Maybe do small grants specific to kind of facade revamp. I mean, a lot of times when you're feeling depressed as a business owner, you just kind of give up, right? You stop cleaning your glass, you let things kind of go by the wayside. You have old signs in your window, but kind of just that out with the old, in with the new, and help everybody have a mental boost. I don't know, Nancy, you're a home-based business. What are your thoughts on what kind of support would be helpful to a home-based business?
There. Yeah, we have to somehow, I guess, celebrate businesses. I even here living where I'm living, I'm now getting packages stolen right off my porch in the middle of the day. So, and it's like they know I can just be gone for an hour or two and boom, they're stealing it from right here. So I'm probably not affected as much, but I do see, homeless people up and down the street. But I think we have to celebrate the businesses, downtown that just hung in there. Somehow make people realize, like Wolf, you were saying, let's just, let's support them.
Mm-hmm.
And Wolf, because some of the numbers that are getting thrown around are pretty crazy, or potential.
We like crazy, so
yeah.
Let's, what do you got, 20 million?
I think actually closer to 14.
Hey.
We'll take it.
One program, if it's of that large, and again, we don't know the strings attached. So that's the real asterisk that takes the size of the room.
Yeah.
Could we pull off and again, I'm shooting off the hip with not telling anyone else except on the Zoom, which is always dangerous because it's recorded. Is there a way you could potentially make a Pittsburgh debit card or something that's, every person who, has a residential unit here gets a $50 debit card to spend only in Pittsburgh, to get them out, and then, they go to stores. Now we want to help the home businesses too. So we got to figure out a way to, make sure it's flexible, but, can we come up with something interesting like that not only does it help get people out and go to the businesses, it helps the jobs. Everyone's got to hire people back because you got money coming back in. And we have 18,000 units. $50 times 18,000 is 900,000. If we're looking at a $14 million budget, That's not, insurmountable. So how do we work together to figure out what is a program? Again, we got to understand the strings, but there are some creative ways to get people out that might also really reinvigorate. Wow, I have not been to, I want my kids to go to Nunley Karate Do. And this is a great way, I can pay for, whether it's one or two, how it all works, but it gets more money back into also the independents. Yes, they can go to Target and Walmart, and that's good too. But it also means a lot of folks might just go to a restaurant or, the neighborhood store, and it gets money spread out.
Well,
Now that is an out of the box idea. I like that one.
That was a great idea too, I would say. Yes.
Yeah, get people to get back downtown and just see how beautiful downtown Pittsburgh is.
Downtown, uptown, left town, right town.
Beautiful.
Yeah, anywhere.
Mm.
So we have, looks like Jackie is just came on. Do you have any, we're talking kind of about, COVID and how to get the economy back going, and also some of the struggles that we're facing with unhoused residents. Any thoughts that you'd like to add or introduce yourself? You don't need to.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are. Go. Yep.
Oh, okay. Hi, thank you. Yeah, well, just listening to what you guys were, I think it was you talking about how we can even support the local businesses, and that's us. And, we've been blessed. We did get a grant from City of Pittsburgh, which has been awesome for us. But we're still not open. And talking about these other businesses that are able to open, we're not. We're still Zoom. We can't have anyone inside. And so that still hurts us. And
which business are you with? I'm sorry.
We own East Bay Karate Do. So we've
Okay.
we've been here for 26, almost 27 years actually in the city of Pittsburgh. And obviously it's been the worst for us, but so we can't still open internally. So even for the next couple, I'm anticipating maybe in about a month, if the numbers keep going, that maybe we'll be able to open 10%. So we're still one of those businesses that just can't say we're open now, because we're kind of not. And they're still, we're dealing with children, and these poor children, are on Zoom all day long with school, that it's hard to teach them on Zoom, after hours. They're kind of tired of Zoom, but so they want to be internally. And so we can't wait until we can open it internally. So it's like, what do we do in that meantime?
Would if a household got a $50 debit card, as Garrett threw out there, would something like that benefit your business? Having people come, obviously we'd have to figure out the mechanics of how you turn that into cash, but assuming that that's all been worked out, do you think something like that would help your business?
It would, if they're, depending on how they want to use it, because do they have an expiration date? Will they hold on to it until when? Because at this point, they're deciding, is their kid better on Zoom or off of Zoom and in person? So, right now we're at a point where our students want to come back, but not on Zoom. So, that's what's hindering us right now. And even new students, because we're dealing with that whole aspect of the distance learning has been a problem. Well, it's not that easy, for even teaching martial arts. We're blessed that we've kept 50%, but that's how much we've lost also, is 50%. Okay. So when they'll use it may determine, if they are a candidate for online, or if they are a candidate more for when we're able to be in person. So it would help. It would definitely help. Obviously, anything helps, but it's just a matter of when it will help. And it will be based on the, candidacy of that particular student. And we do fitness classes too, also virtually. So parents, if they want to use it for themselves and they're okay with being virtual, then they may use it for themselves. So so
now
it's not
kind
just
of
for children.
a spin-off of that. What if the city used some of those funds to create kind of pop-up areas that you could, let's say in your case, and actually Mr. Nunley's, this would be a designated area for maybe personal fitness trainers, karate. Obviously, they work
Yeah.
out scheduling, but this is an area outside where those types of businesses could operate, or use it to create areas where, you know, because some of our restaurants don't really have, you know, the outdoor seating, right? So
Right.
converting parking, et cetera. So would you rather have people getting $50 gift cards, or maybe some outdoor infrastructure set up that you could schedule to use to host classes?
Yeah. So, you know, the outdoor thing is very much up in the air, because we fight the elements, you know, it being either cold or it being windy or it being rainy, and we're at night, you know, so for in our industry, it's more of a nighttime thing, so it gets colder. So it's the outside piece. I think I would rather see it, for at least for us, it being for how they want to use it. Being if they can do virtual, then great. If they want to hold on to it, they can do it later. But for, you know, restaurants and other industries, you know, restaurants can't have indoor yet, but they have the outdoor, or they have takeout. So if you can come up with something to help them to be more outdoor, like city of Brentwood has been awesome with helping restaurants become more outdoor. In fact, I think they're going to make something permanent for the outdoor dining, which is going to be wonderful for the downtown part of Brentwood. So maybe it's something to kind of look at for them, for the industry of downtown and other restaurants, to be able to have more outdoor dining, which means probably giving them more real estate, part of the sidewalk or whatever. I don't think a lot of them have taken advantage of that situation. I'm not sure if Pittsburgh has allowed it, but so I know each industry is going to be different. You know, shopping is already allowed. It's been allowed, so they're not really hit as hard. So I think it's case by case. I do have a suggestion, is maybe GoFundMe accounts for different industries that maybe people, you know, of the city, patrons of Pittsburgh would like to maybe donate to a city-wide GoFundMe, and you can disperse monies against all different type of industries. I don't hear you.
Sorry, we'll definitely get that recorded. I think that's a great idea. I mean, as far as the city, I can respond, has been really easy to work with in regards to the outdoor seating permits and getting things set up. Some of the issue has been that you take so many seats to make money, right? And so even the outdoor, then you got to bring more people, and it doesn't pencil out. But I think something, you know, your idea of some permit is great. I wanted, because we've been in this for about half an hour, and not go away from the city. We'll come back, but spend some time with PD, let them ask some questions. I don't know if Lieutenant Deplich or Tony, if there's questions that you have for our businesses that are kind of rattling around, or things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure. Kind of like we discussed during the last meeting, we're well aware of some of the complications and the frustrations that have came out of COVID as it relates to law enforcement. But with that said, I know in the past we've worked with Bob Garrison for several years now. We've worked with Sierra Pacific, and now we're working with Walmart just to help ensure the safety of the customers and these businesses, to make sure that they're working and people are coming to shop there in a safe environment. With that said, as a business owner, what more would you like to see from the police department, whether it's from resources, or from an enforcement side, or from a more visibility side? Anything that we can do to help make this an easier process, I'd definitely like to know what those are.
Man, that's the Christmas question right there. That's like going to Santa. What do you want? So, all right, let's go ahead and some feedback there. Actually, I'd like to ask, before we go to the businesses, go with Mr. Davies and ask him about what he might like from PD.
We've got a lot of assistance from PD, so I don't really really have too much more to ask for. They respond pretty well when we call them. They help us with the trespassing. It's been going pretty good with PD. So there's not a whole bunch more that I can ask from them. They respond when we call and help us out, move people along as much as they can. I know, are you guys still not able to arrest, like they're not able to like really put the homeless in their cars and take them away anymore still because of the COVID, but they are moving them along, so that's helping.
Okay. Bob, you have your hand raised?
Me?
Bob Garrison, sorry.
Oh, Garrison, okay.
Either one. I had a thought, and I don't know if it's doable or not, but I thought I read somewhere in California, and I think it was a city down south, that they identified certain individuals who were just habitual criminals within the city. I think, 80% of the stuff that goes on is done by, maybe a couple handful of people that are just constantly coming and breaking into businesses, causing havoc. What if we could identify these people and do some kind of like restraining order for them to be in the city? Like, they are not welcomed in the city. And I don't know legally if that's even feasible, but I thought I read that some city down south at least tried that. And I don't know. I know that there's certain things we can and can't do, but maybe that's something that we could look into, is identifying the people that are causing the most problems and make their lives a living hell to be in the city of Pittsburgh. Just a thought.
Have fun with that one, Lieutenant.
Yeah, just to touch on that real quick, it's my understanding that the audio on this is not doesn't sound very well, so I apologize for that. But as far as the restraining orders, hopefully this is coming through. A little difficult to ban someone from your city, but I would certainly, if there are people that are coming onto your property and causing day-to-day problems, that going the restraining order route is something that we can work with the business to work on. That is something that can be done. As far as them coming on your private property, a little more difficult as far as, like I said, banning someone from the city. But if there are certain people that are coming on, like I said, coming on your property, on your private property, those are certainly things that we can address through a restraining order process.
Well, could we get some help from the PD and security? And I'm sure Bob Berger would jump all over this, and we would jump all over. Maybe the private owners, the shopping center owners, we could identify these people and get restraining orders so that they can't come and terrorize the centers. And if they had a restraining order for every private property or most of the private properties in the city of Pittsburgh, they'd probably go somewhere else.
Let me jump into that. Yeah, I agree with Bob. It used to be, Lieutenant, that at one time, before the homeless issue became a real issue, and I don't know how many are homeless and how many are just professional criminals. There used to be the opportunity for security to issue a restraining order which says, this is private property. You can't come on here. You can't come on here to loiter or to beg or whatever. And it used to be that the police department was able to do something to move them along. Now the frustration is we can issue that certificate or piece of paper many, many times and nothing happens. And so my question would be, can you do anything, or you can't do anything, or what kind of recommendations can we give to our tenants about the complete, they see the police coming on the site. They see them talking to the homeless. The guy leaves, and 15 minutes later, he comes back. So there's absolutely, there's nothing to basically keep them away. And they know that. And that's why we have such a big problem. And that's why it's so frustrating in the factor that it used to be, you get a restraining order, the police came, they took him away. I know the problem with the COVID and all of that, but now it's, we'll talk to you, go across the street or go down the street. And, is there anything more forceful?
Well, I think what Bob's talking about is the trespass warnings and then the trespass notices that they would do. But from what I understand, and Lieutenant Deplich, correct me if I'm wrong, the trespass notices don't have that much teeth, but a restraining order is something completely different. And we would be happy to spearhead that in terms of filing the restraining order. We just need some help in identifying. I actually started the process of trying to get a restraining order on the gentleman that broke all of those windows downtown at the Starbucks on Railroad, because he broke windows at our centers as well. And they asked for, a bunch of information. And so if we could work with the PD in getting those kind of all the T's crossed and I's dotted so that we could get those filed, we would spearhead that. I understand that the city probably can't do that for legal reasons, but as private business owners, we would definitely spearhead that effort if we could maybe work together in identifying these people and just making sure our documentation is tied up.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, absolutely. And that's, we can work with you specifically in getting some of these people, some of these individuals identified. But I don't want to sugarcoat this. With some of the restrictions and some of the challenges that have come out throughout this pandemic, our hands are tied to a certain respect. And certainly we're just as frustrated as you guys are. But as far as the trespass violations, with the restrictions that have been in place, something prior to COVID where someone would be arrested for, let's say, a trespass violation, that is an arrest that could be made, and then that person would go to jail for it. In today's world, they do not. And the reason for that is that the jail in Martinez will not accept them because it's not what they consider to be a violent crime. And simply put, so that individual would be site released. That doesn't mean that this crime is not documented. That doesn't mean that this case is not forwarded to the district attorney's office. All of that is still the same. It's just what happens specifically on that day has been altered. And that's out of our control to some extent, because they're not simply going to jail right then and there. But I would moving forward, encourage you, and we'd be happy to work with you, Bob, is getting some of these individuals identified and move forward with at least getting cases documented on these people and get this brought over to the district attorney's office.
Is there any regarding individuals that are also stealing, that are shoplifting, coming in the store and are, so-called homeless? I mean, is there any opportunity there? In other words, to make them just stay away from the property.
Yes, and the same would apply to, if there's people coming in your stores and they're coming in there for just the purpose of stealing, then whether it's us documenting a theft report, But if it's something that's continuing, over and over again with the same person, then I would certainly, we'd certainly be happy to work with you and go down the restraining order route to hopefully curb some of this.
Does each business need a restraining order?
Yes. One, there's not a blanket one for all the business in the city. It would be each business would have to have their own separate restraining order, and for each individual, it's not just a blanket order. If that makes sense.
Would each business within the shopping center need it, or could one cover a single shopping center?
You're muted.
I would say for a shopping center, we could certainly try for a shopping center and kind of go from there, especially if it's something like with Century Plaza. I would say start big and see if we could, contain that all in one, and then if need be, work our way down to each business. But I would initially start. We could start with just the whole complex and then go from there.
Okay.
It sounds like it's a similar bunch of people that are causing the trouble, so everybody knows who these folks are, or are they different at different shopping centers?
I think a lot of them are the same people over and over again. There are new, like Bill said, there are new people that we haven't seen that are more aggressive. But I mean, I would think that we could probably come up with a list of, 10 or 15, maybe 20 people that do the lion's share of the damage. And maybe we start with one of the identify, one of the worst, and try to do the restraining order and see how that goes. And if we can get one, that can hopefully be a template for others.
I want to jump over to our crew from Walmart Outfits, Rachel or one of her associates, but they've raised their hand. I don't know if they have something to add on this topic.
Yeah, how you guys doing? My name is Daniel Stice, and I'm the security manager for here at the Pittsburgh Loveridge Walmart. I started at this store over 18 years ago for Walmart as asset protection. Recently come back to the store to partner up with the store manager here. Just want to say thanks, you guys, for even trying to address this situation. It's a super complicated and hard subject. Pittsburgh PD is, man, they've been awesome, super supportive, more than I ever remember them being. Partnering with Joe Terry, great guy, good officer, and then Townsend also coming over and just, man, I'll work a Sunday night sometimes just to pop in, make sure my guys, and she's walking my store, and I'm like, man, that's so awesome. I got 3 full-time Bronson uniform security people at the store during the open hours. I have 1 full-time in a pickup driving the parking lot. I got 4 asset protection associates in the store, walking the store, looking for shoplifters, dealing with parking lot issues, things like that. And I have 1 open spot, if you guys know anybody who wants a job. But with the next door to us, with the old Hotel 6, now doing what they're doing, I all day, every day. My guys are definitely, their day is taken up with a lot more just drinking alcohol in the store, eating in the store, swapping out clothes. Not the typical shoplift theft, definitely a trying to survive kind of theft, toiletries, things like that. We just spent, it was over $20,000 to clean up behind the store. We dropped some riprap rock back there and cleaned up a couple little unauthorized encampments back there, and Pittsburgh was huge in assisting with that, making sure it took place also. But yeah, that's kind of our deal here. The parking lot we towed like 3 cars last week. We're trying to really stay on top of the abandoned vehicles. People are trying to do full transmission swaps in our parking lot. It was getting kind of out of control. I try to be understanding, and if it's a tire, we probably donated or just gave away, a couple of tires just to get it. Hey, the dealers I'll put this tire in your car, but you got to get out of here type thing. So we try to all kinds of different angles. Those 10% that Mr. Garrison was talking about, being super violent, super aggressive, even assaulting guards, assaulting my AP, assaulting customers. I mean, just simple, out of the blue, walk by, slap a lady and walk by and just keep walking. It's like, wow, where did this come from? Last night we had a catalytic converter cut off one of our employee overnight workers' cars. So I was actually on another call about the same issue.
And not to cut you off, but just you brought that up on those, like the catalytic converter or some of those other things. Do each one of those? I know sometimes we feel like I don't want to bother the PD with this because they got bigger stuff to fight, but that data, is important to them. Do each of those incidents get reported to PD either through dispatch or online?
Absolutely, yeah. She was just here taking a report from the RP. Super supportive. We also utilize CopLogic. Super easy. We document every incident 3 times actually for Walmart. We have an emergency operations center we call it into over the phone. We have an internal recording report process that we make a physical paper document, try to print some photos, staple them, create files here on site. And then we also, anything violent or something like that, where there's the property damage and it's going to be a large amount, and we're going to try to do something for this associate. We enter that into the CopLogic also.
Okay.
And we happened to call this time, and she responded super fast, super supportive to try to get that documented for his insurance policy.
Okay. I want to, Anna from Department of Rehab just raised her hand. Anna, if you want to, I don't know if you have something to add to that or just go for it.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to say that I'm a resident of Pittsburgh. I live here near BART station, but my business we have a business, but it's in San Francisco downtown. And so I feel for each one of you, all the businesses, because we are also affected. We have convenience stores in San Francisco. But anyway, I'm here representing Department of Rehabilitation. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we are open. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Department of Rehabilitation. We help people with disabilities. Disability could be physical, emotional, mental, whatever kind of disability. And we help people with disabilities find work. So we are open. Not a lot of people are coming into our office, but we are open every day, Monday to Friday. But we are not seeing clients. We're trying to make appointments by telephone or by Zoom. But anyway, I am here because I'm representing student services program. So I just want to let everyone know. I know that you guys are all business owners. My area here is in Pittsburgh, all the East County, and I help students in high school, ages 16 to 21, before they reach the age of 22, and I give them work experience. So I have a few students who are working with business. A few of them I met through Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce. I attended the mixers before, and they're ongoing getting work experience. What is work experience is 100 hours of work experience for our students who are in high schools here, like Pittsburgh High School, Deer Valley, or Antioch. But anyway, so you guys can.
So Anna, real quick, I was wondering, you mentioned that part of with the Department of Rehab, those that may be struggling with mental health issues and getting them work. Do you see a way that either you or the Department of Rehab can help Pittsburgh as, let's say we have these individuals that are repeat causing issues to different sites, and it's, how can we get them connected with the Department of Rehab so that they can get help? Because I think we can recognize that it's not PD's job to rehabilitate those with mental health, and the chamber can't do it, the city can't, but can the Department of Rehab help? How can we partner with you guys to help those that are struggling with mental health so that they can receive help?
Yes, so just have them go to our office. They could call. I could give you the phone number right now. It's 925 or I don't know 754-7700, or you could just Google.
Whoa. So all right, slow down. What is it? 925.
Okay, 754.
754.
7700.
And so, but I mean, that
Okay.
sounds like it's kind of like the general
upfront.
number. I mean, we want to
No.
set up like a strategic partnership, and I don't know,
Oh, sure.
either through the PD or if Jordan with the city, but like
Okay.
this group, we're trying to get the general rules and like call this and that. It's not working, so we're trying to create some strategic
Sure.
steps that, like, if PD is called to a property and it's somebody who's been received a ton of calls, it's perceived, because we can't assume that they have a mental health issue. How do we get them help now without waiting for Monday through Friday 8 to 5 call the operator?
I think that's going to be the Contra Costa County Mental Health.
And do you have a direct connection with there? Like, are you able to break
We
through some of the
partners
red
with
tape
them.
on that?
We've been working together side by side, helping our clients. So if they have a mental health and that's their disability, then we partners with them, helping them find a job. So if
All right, so I think what we'll do is maybe
Okay.
we can have a smaller meeting
Sure.
with like city PD and the chamber. Maybe look at how we could create a plan so that what I'm thinking is, and Lieutenant, you can say, Wolf, that's a crazy idea. But, I know the officers have like a resource book, or they have numbers that they can call. And this would be one insert into the book where, okay, this person might be a candidate. We have this special partnership in Pittsburgh, kind of like with like the core team. And let's get this going, because the whack-a-mole is not working. I think that's why we're all frustrated, is we all want better. We want more. We signed up for our career because we want better, and it's not working. So we got to get past whack-a-mole, because that's for Chuck E. Cheese. So
yeah,
I think
I agree.
in the interest of time, let's have either Leanne or Tara connect with you. We'll have a separate meeting where we can try to create this partnership with Department of Rehab to get people help, because I'll speak for a lot of businesses. I think it's going to get to the point where business owners are going to start doing things on their own because they're frustrated.
But keep in mind, though, that our goal here is employment. So Department of Rehab.
Our goal is too.
So that they won't be
that's the long-term
going
solution,
around.
right?
We need jobs for them. And that's what I do too with the students. So the work experience, for if you guys are a business that you needed help, we pay the student. You guys don't have to do anything, just to give them the work experience.
Sure.
So
Awesome.
we could work together, definitely.
Okay. Lieutenant or Tony, do you have any other questions to ask our group? Or I'm sure there's hundreds, but anything that's like, I really want to ask this.
Go ahead, Tony.
I do. I wanted to. Am I loud? I wanted to touch base with Walmart, because I know in our last meeting, we discussed the Cadillac converters being stolen in the parking lot from people visiting the store and from the employees. So I did a little research and pulled the data, and there was no reports of that. So I wanted to make sure that Walmart is reporting it. I know something happened yesterday, but I want to make sure consistently, because we want to keep track of everything that's happening at your store, whether it's a petty theft or a Cadillac converter being stolen from the parking lot.
Yes, that is the new direction that my boss, that we just got off the call right before I got on this one. We are calling into PD almost everything now. So yeah, the documentation on that side, I don't know what, before I came to this store, I didn't know what the history of the call-ins were like that. This is the first Cadillac converter that I personally have heard of. But yes, we are making that call and partnering and documenting, not only in our system, but also with you guys on the call.
Wonderful. And I do encourage all the other businesses that are in this meeting to do the same, to follow suit, to call when something is happening, whether I said it's a petty theft or something major is happening. We need to be aware of what's going on, and not just in these meetings, but when it is happening.
And then just to add that, I've done this maybe 2 or 3 times. If it's, you show up to your business and, you know, maybe the window's broken and you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to bother the PD with calling dispatch, you can go online and file, it's not a police report yet, I forget what you guys call it, but you can file an incident and then they'll follow up with you. So if it's not something that may need like officers right now, but still to capture the incident in the data, I've done it personally and it works very well. It's very quick. You get, you know, depending on what it is, they'll call you or email you or still come out and visit. But if you're feeling kind of that guilt, like, do I really want to bother the PD again for something? I would encourage you to use the online reporting system so that it still gets reported. I don't know, Lieutenant, any in regards to the online reporting or calling, any advice or input?
Just the only advice I would give is just to kind of echo what Tony said. The easiest way, you can do 1 or 2 ways, both through the online, which gets addressed just as it would if you were to call in. The quickest and probably most efficient way to get an officer out there would be just through our dispatch. We've seen in the past where some businesses will report stuff that go like through social media, and that does not work. So I would discourage anyone from taking that approach. But either 1 or 2 ways, through the online reporting system, which again gets addressed the same as you would if you were to get called in. But if you want an officer there to express your frustrations, don't think for a second that you're inconvenience us or that you're bothering us. You're not. If you want an officer out there, certainly call dispatch and we'll get an officer out there to talk to you.
Awesome, thank you.
Well,
So
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Berger.
I just have a quick question, and I want to just leave it with my thoughts. Number one, what is the size of the Walmart store, square foot wise? Is the Walmart security guy still on?
Yes, he is. Daniel, do you have that?
The square footage of the store?
Yeah.
I don't have it on hand. I pull it up really quick. Yeah, what's your question as far as square footage here?
Yeah, well, it must be, is it more than 80,000 square foot store?
Oh, probably around that, yeah.
Okay. I just want to reiterate to everybody that Walmart, which is probably the biggest retailer other than Target in the city, how many security officers do you have and how many hours of security are you running there?
Well, in-house, as far as Walmart employees on our books, I'm running 5 at 40 at, let's see, I got 5 at 40, so 200 hours a week just for in-house security. And then I'm running another 3 a week, 40 hours through a third-party Bronson security, and then 1 overnighter.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you have about
1 spot to fill for 5 in-house. So.
Okay, so you have, when you say in-house, are those individuals walking the floor?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Plain clothes, walking the sales floor, trying to secure that.
Yeah. So you have a pretty big presence there, and you still have a big problem. Which really should indicate to everybody that, as we've discussed on many cases in time, this is a major problem. But what I would like to have done, Bill, are you still on the call? Bill Davies? Bill?
He is not.
Okay, I'll talk to him later. Anyway, and with Garrison, I think he will agree with this. Why, if we were able to get a list of names of the frequent offenders that always seem to be a problem. And we're able to do something about those, whether that they're 10, 8, 5, whatever it is. At least the word is going to get around that the city of Pittsburgh isn't playing around. We're very, very concerned about people stealing and doing damage to the property. And if we could do that, Bob, I think maybe we could work with Bill and get him to give us the names, and then we'll give it to the police department, and we'll see what we can do after we file, in the name of Atlantic Plaza and maybe the other centers you have. I'll do it very rapidly for Pittsburgh Town Center. And let's see if we can make some inroads in terms of getting some of the bad actors at least to the point that they may go somewhere else. I know it's fruitless to say they're going to go to jail, even if they take merchandise, but at least they may go somewhere else. And so that's what I'd like to suggest between now and our next meeting, if we can get this off the ground and see if we can make some inroads into the factor that the word gets around. And I can tell you they talk to each other and they know each other and they know where they can go. And it's a pretty good network. And if they also within the network know that we're doing something, Pittsburgh's doing something, maybe we won't see them anymore. So I would suggest that we try to put that together. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And we, however the chamber, we can set up Zoom or whatever to help facilitate those conversations. I do, in the interest of time, we a little bit over, but it's great dialogue, and we're making traction here, and that's none of these problems are going to get fixed overnight or in 2 Zoom meetings. I think we know that, but we're the whole goal is to do things differently and keep moving that needle forward. But I do want to give an opportunity. We talked a little bit about crime issues and those that are unhoused, and we've talked about stimulus. I know, Jordan, you're still on the call. Is there anything, other questions you might have or things that you want to ask any of the businesses?
No, I don't have any other questions, but I do just want to say, again, thank you for all the businesses that joined. And I do want to do a quick pitch, if you will. We're on the non-PD end. We're trying to do what we can to address some of these situations. Daniel, I'd love to set up a time to speak with you in particular, because I know that the Walmart shopping center has been hit hard. We're currently attempting to increase the police presence out there. And I know that just over the past week, that's made somewhat of a difference. And I know that there have been several arrests in that area as we increase our police presence, as much as 40 hours a week just dedicated to that area to help address some issues. But I also really want to hear about what's going on with the Motel 6. And I don't want to put you on the spot now, but please let me know offline. One of the hats I wear as assistant to the city manager, we are in constant communication with the county on that project. And so we definitely want to make sure that we're relaying what we're hearing from those neighboring property owners in particular about what's going on there. One of the things that we are looking at doing is partnering with several folks to take a look at some of our shopping centers and work with the property owners to see what we can do to put a little skin in the game and work with the property owners so they can improve the shopping experience for folks in the community. But we realize that the first step before we can expect reinvestment is to try to address some of these issues. So, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to draw my contact information in the chat, and love to continue the conversation and see what we can do to help the businesses be successful and reduce the vandalism that we're seeing. But thanks, Wolf.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. Does anybody have any last either questions or comments? I know we all have busy schedules, but I want to give, I don't know if Mr. Nunley or Jackie or anybody else has anything they want to add before we wrap up.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right,
thank you,
so
sir. Yeah, Mr. Davis, I will get with you for being on the call. And I have seen a huge, thank you to Pittsburgh PD. I mean, they're pretty amazing people that work over there, and just the abandoned vehicles, I think, you know, because a lot of them live in their vehicles, and if they have a risk, you know, parking lot to lose them, I think they would move along and not hang out in the. I'll just have to walk by them outside their vehicles in our parking lot. Very much.
Ms. Henderson, did you have? I saw you unmuted.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. Before, because I was just getting ready to discuss too about the strategic side of things. And I was going to say also is that I want to partner with the police department as well, because through my foundation, I can help also, like for instance, what Anna was saying when it comes to not so much of people having real mental disorders, but you know, those whom are out here saying, because I know I run into them a lot, and that's how I had helped a couple of people that were homeless out here and helped them get a job. However, when they say that they're hungry or, you know, don't have no food or anything of that nature, maybe we can try to work something out where you know, being cited and writing down, or have a list of organizations such as mine and the Rehabilitation Center per my partner Anna here, and you know, have those people to come to us and get the help and the resources. So I would really like to be in on that meeting.
Awesome. I think one thing, maybe as a chamber, what we could do is maybe like an open house, video open house, where we can have all these different service providers and help broadcast it so people can become aware of what we have offered here in Pittsburgh, and give each, you know, kind of like show and tell, right? We'll give everybody like 5 minutes. This is an overview of my program. Here's my contact info. And this is the specific audience that my organization serves, and then just do next. That way we're more aware of what we have here locally. So I think that's a great idea, Pamela, and we'll definitely reach out to you and others to put this together.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for including me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, I want to go ahead and wrap up. I want to thank everybody. I know this it's a long day. We're all busy, and sometimes it feels like, what's the point, right? Everything's against us. But this is our third meeting. We are making progress, and we're having conversations that have not been really had before at this level, and that's what it takes. And working together, identifying what resources we have and how we can work together. So I want to thank everybody who attended. Our next meeting is going to be in March, actually on March 18th. And we will look out on the Chamber's website, eBlast, and Facebook for, you know, the agenda and all that. But it is March 18th is the third Thursday, and we want to continue this pattern. And please, your friends who own businesses, we need to hear from them, and so that we can all work together. I hope you saw today that our police department and our city do want to hear and want to help, and they are very accessible and make as much time as they can for our business community, and we appreciate that. But we need more input and more of our businesses to come online. I know everybody's busy and we all have hard schedules, but in order to tackle big problems, we all have to, you know, sacrifice time to kind of make some solutions, because we can't rely on the higher levels of government, right? We got to fix our problems here locally, and we do have the right people on the bus to make that happen. So I want to thank Lieutenant Deplich and Tony and Jordan, and Garrett was here, and everybody else that has made time to ask questions. Lieutenant, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just real quick, just wanted to thank everyone for their time. We definitely appreciate your input, and we look forward, you know, moving forward to working on some of these problems with you, and hopefully we'll get some solutions moving forward in the near future. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. All right. With that,
Thank you,
again, if you're
everyone.
not subscribed to the Chamber's e-blast, that's how you find out about these meetings and share them. So we would encourage you to do that. And also the city with their email communications as well. It's really important to get both of those. So with that, wish everybody a great day and put on your thinking caps for March 18th so we can keep moving the needle. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
You.